Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Picks on Politics. I'm Dan Manarino. Well, there are a lot of recent developments in the world of New Jersey politics, so across the Hudson we go. This past week, wife to Governor Phil Murphy, Tammy Murphy, announcing she will run for New Jersey Senate, setting up a dynamic Democratic primary between her, Congressman Andy Kim, and likely sitting Senator Bob Menendez. Now, new poll numbers show an interesting start to that contest. We'll go through those numbers later on in the show with our panel. Also, this past week, Congressman Josh Gottheimer releasing a campaign-like video launching Jumpstart Jersey, raising speculation that he may seek a statewide seat, potentially governor. And we already know one Democratic candidate for New Jersey governor, that is current Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop, which leaves his seat open, and former Governor Jim McGreevey intending to fill it. This morning, Governor McGreevey is going on the record. And Mr. McGreevey is joining me now. Welcome to Picks on Politics.
Thanks. That's a lot.
It's a lot. A lot going on in the world of New Jersey.
Exactly.
Let's zero in on your race
Sure.
and talk about the why, right? Why now at this point in your life, and why Jersey City?
Well, I think three reasons. I mean, the first reason is Dan, having served previously as a mayor and as governor in the executive branch, but also for the past 10 years, I've been outside working in a nonprofit, focusing on people coming home from prison and from jail, veterans coming back from war, and those coming back from addiction treatment. And you see the challenges that people have, to secure housing, the challenges that people have to survive in the city. And so I think born out of my sort of work for the past 10 years, I have a sense both from outside of government and inside of government that there's a unique set of skills that are required. The second point is perhaps the most important, is affordability. And that is Jersey City, particularly on property tax side, has just gone exponentially increased. And I think of it always in terms of, the working poor, or working class families, or middle class families. But as I was sharing with you earlier, that a realtor shared with me yesterday that someone who was looking at a 2-bedroom condominium on the waterfront looked at a $34,000 property tax bill annually, which to me is, is just beyond recognition. And so the point is, if Jersey City is becoming too expensive in terms of property taxes, government services, school board services, the challenges then become, how is Jersey City going to be competitive? And more importantly, Dan, how are those families that have been there for 3 generations, 4 generations, how are they going to be able to afford to continue to remain in the city? And that's so important.
So I want to talk about the affordability and the issues facing Jersey City in just a moment, but I want to ask you a question about trust, right? Because when you resigned, did you feel you lost the trust of New Jerseyans? And if so, how do they know to trust you now?
Well, I served for 10 years as mayor, and I served as governor, and I think I made a significant decision that I had made a mistake, that I acknowledged my mistake, that I had this gay affair, and that I resigned. I owned it. And so for me, right now, I think what's so critically important is, as I said all the time, that I'm walking down the hill. I'm not walking up the hill. I mean, this is at the tail end of my career. And what I see is as a city that needs to have affordable housing, that needs to control property taxes, that needs to have safe, clean streets. We got to take off the motorbikes. And that also has to improve the quality of its education. So what I believe is that moment in time when I acknowledged, as I said, my truth, was brutally honest, and acknowledging and owning my responsibility was critically important. But I also think, Dan, that having served as mayor for 10 years, having served in the executive branch, and having been out of power, I mean, Jersey City is a $700 million plus corporation. The school budget is a $1 billion corporation. So what we're talking about is a significant amount of dollars, and that if property taxes continue to increase unabated, people are going to have to leave Jersey City.
Let's break that down, right? Because a lot of folks are trying to move to Jersey City thinking it is a cheaper alternative to New York City. That has quickly become a pipe dream for many folks who just simply cannot afford it.
Well, I think it's still true, but it's coming close to the pressure point.
But there are a lot of people in certain areas like Journal Square, Bergen Lafayette that are getting priced out, right? Because these high rises are going up. How do you plan to keep the affordability accessible to many?
Well, there are three things. I mean, one is you have to control the exponential increase in government. And Jersey City, about 21 to 22, had a significant jump in property taxes. So obviously you have to control government spending, which is so critically important. Second, you want development, but you want balanced, structured development throughout the entirety of the city. So it's not just downtown or Journal Square, but you want to look at Greenville, you want to look to Lafayette, maybe to certain sections of the Heights. And then the third area is that you want to be able to look at, federal financing, Economic Development Authority financing to help the two most expensive costs in new construction is obviously the cost of land and the cost of construction. So you want to look at other models on how we reduce the cost of construction so we keep the investment in Jersey City. But to go to your first point is property taxes, property taxes, property taxes.
Would you commit to not raising them?
Well, the goal would be is to actually level property taxes. And to do that, you could clearly do that on the municipal side, but on the school board side is to exert the necessary pressure on the school board. I mean,
so what you're talking about, just so I can get in there, is that, is that Mayor Fulop says, I didn't raise property taxes, but the school board raised property taxes. What is your take on the school board raising taxes?
Well, we can't let it continue.
Right.
We're not going to be able to afford to live in Jersey City. So you can't just say, school board, God bless you, you're spending more money than the most expensive prep schools in the country per student. And bluntly, the results don't meet the financial expenditures. So as mayor, I want to be in that game. I want to be making sure that if you want a world-class city, you have to have a world-class educational system. And so that's best practices. So it's not just about the money, but it's about educational excellence. It's about third-grade childhood literacy. It's about increasing the quality of those schools with magnet schools.
What do you think of the job? You're taking over for a guy who's been there for 12 years. He's going to run for your old seat as governor of New Jersey, right? It's a bit of a flip-flop here. Do you think Stephen Fulop did a good job, and would you endorse him as governor?
Well, my focus is on Jersey City, making Jersey City the safest, most affordable city.
Did he do a good job?
I think in certain areas, I think the Fulop administration, the mayor, and the council have done an incredible job in increasing outside private capital investment into Jersey City. For my bread and butter, it's about keeping it affordable, and I think that has not been of as primary a focus as it would be in a McGreevey administration.
Understood. I'm out of time here, but I ask you one more question.
Sure, Dan, this blew by.
And I know, seriously, time flies. But is this your first stop to a higher office?
No. This is I love what I do with reentry. I work with 20,000 people, and it's really changed me personally, spiritually. I say if I walk at the end of the street, I can run into Holy Name Cemetery where my grandmother is buried. So it's just like, as I say, I'm walking down the hill. And I really think that I can, with the skills that I have, both inside government, outside government, considering the seriousness of the challenges, I can make a difference in people's lives and in the city of Jersey City.
All right, Mr. McGreevey, great to have you here.
Dan,
on Picks on
thank you
Politics,
so much.
All right? We'll talk to you along the campaign. And later on, everybody, more New Jersey politics to talk about, including a poll giving early insight into the Democratic primary for New Jersey Senate. That's a big race there. But first, major city budget cuts announced last week to ease the financial cost of the migrant crisis. So next, I'm joined by Deputy Mayor Ann Williams-Isom for the very latest on how the city is providing for asylum seekers and its impact citywide. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Picks on Politics.